Hey, this is Max with Greyland Audio, and I'm so excited to be introducing and walking you guys through our new plugin Visual Lab. We soft launched this product last week without any major announcement or trailer, and the response has just been absolutely incredible, and I still can't wrap my head around the past 10 days. At the time of recording this, we've sold over 10,000 copies of both Visual Lab and Visual Lab Pro, and I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been using it online. It really means the world to me. Let's get into it. So Visual Lab is simply just an audio reactive tool that can be used in a standalone app as well as a plugin inside your DAW. It comes in AU, VST3, and a standalone form. So it works in every major DAW except for Pro Tools at the moment. We're working on that right now, so hopefully in a few weeks it will be compatible with Pro Tools and will be AAX certified. You can use it as a visualizer for fun when producing, drag and drop your own custom images and logos, save presets, run multiple boxes at once, and even program an entire live set with sync lyrics and live key commands to control the screen. To start off, there's two versions, Visual Lab, which is free, and Visual Lab Pro, which is currently $39. Visual Lab contains all 10 of the main modes and lets you get started with the essentials to bring your audios to life, whereas Visual Lab Pro comes with the additional performance and multiple mode and allows users to access the full effects page as well. Also, Visual Lab Pro allows you to take a deeper dive into every mode, accessing over 80 subcategories. For example, this is Oscilloscope. With Pro, you could choose any of these settings within Oscilloscope, drag and drop your own images, and add effects, and pretty much tweak it until it's exactly how you want it, and then save your own presets. So Visual Lab and Visual Lab Pro both have 10 main modes: Oscilloscope, Lava Lamp, Arcade, Interstellar, TV, Basic Colors, Code, Pixel, Plasma, and Text. Alright, so getting started with the controls. Every mode is slightly different, but they're mostly the same and have the same basic setup. The most important two knobs are the input knob and the intensity knob. These two knobs are in the same place on every mode and do the same thing. Also, a quick tip. To hide and show the controls, you could either click the eye icon and the gear icon, or just click the canvas to bring them up and to get rid of them. The input knob on the left is pretty much like your gain knob on any other plugin. Starting with it at 50% is a good move, but feel free to adjust it if you feel like your audio source is either too loud or too quiet. The intensity knob is more like a distortion. Rather than setting the level just right so the visuals pick up the audio, this lets you creatively play with the amount of the effect. Use these two knobs together to fine-tune your visuals so they react just the way you want them to. If your audio source is either way too loud or way too quiet, a good trick is to right-click on the input knob and either add 20 dB of gain or subtract 20 dB of gain. This is good if your input track is super light, like a hi-hat or something. This lets you capture the visuals without turning the volume of the track up. And then on the flip side, if your audio track or audio source is incredibly loud and the visuals are picking up everything, subtracting 20 dB will let you focus on just the peaks of the audio spikes. Alright, so one of the next features that's in every mode is the color selector. It's pretty straightforward. You just click on the box to change and cycle through the colors, and you can also right-click on the box to pull up all the available colors and select what you want there. If you're in the free version of Visual Lab, you only have a couple of choices to choose from, but in Visual Lab Pro, you have the entire palette. The next control that every mode has is the selector pill on the bottom. This lets you navigate between the different subcategories in whatever overall mode you're in. Right now we're in arcade mode. If we click on this, we can scroll through all the different subcategories there are within arcade. Also, with this selector pill, you can right-click on it and select the subcategory you want that way as well. You'll find that in almost every single parameter in this plugin, you can right-click, and there are more features and accessibilities underneath the hood. Under both the selector pill and the color box, there's a cycle button. When clicking either of the cycle buttons, the plugin will automatically go through all of the categories and colors to the beat of the audio, and this creates a pretty cool effect. Here's a quick example of that. We're in Lava Lamp mode right now, and I have this drum loop playing. This is how the screen looks normally. If I hit the cycle button underneath the selector pill, we start to see the categories change on beat. This works across every mode, so I'll just scroll through a couple of them so you can see. And then if I click on the cycle button that's underneath the color box, we can see those colors start to change as well on the beat. So we're in oscilloscope mode right now, so on the right hand side we have this glow knob. That simply just changes the glow of the visuals. Every other mode is going to have different controls between the color box and the intensity knob. Some modes even have two different colors that you can choose from. So that section will change based on whatever mode you're in, but they're pretty simple and easy to figure out. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about are the effects. These can really bring your presets to the next level, and they're a ton of fun. Starting off with texture. It's pretty straightforward and simple. You just turn the knob to add different textures, and you can right-click to see the different texture options and mess around with them. The next one is my personal favorite, which is the dither knob. This basically breaks down your visuals into their simplest form. The first option is symbol, which breaks them down into these intricate icons and characters. But if you right-click, there's also star, flower, and hex. Another thing I wanted to mention are these mod buttons that are below each of the effect knobs. The mod buttons allow the effects to strobe on the beat of your audio. So if I turn on the mod button for dither, something that looked like this before, now can look like this. As you can see, it's not only strobing the effect on and off to the beat, but it's randomizing the effect amount, creating these hypnotic pulses. Alright, so next is the tracking effect. This is super fun, and it basically clings to light sources and motion tracks your screen. There's 5 different options, and when you strobe them, they create this kind of an effect. Finally, we have my second favorite effect, which is the glass knob. This knob creates these beautiful glass-like shapes, which allow light to pass through them and reflect off of them, fully transforming your visuals. There's 6 different shapes you could choose from, and some of them even rotate, which reflects the light even more. When using effects, you can hit this lock button to keep them in the same place when switching between modes and categories, or hit this reset button to return the mode to its default position. You can save your own presets to the user folder, or use factory ones. These are basically just user presets built by me, and they're a really good starting place. Here's me cycling through a couple of the factory presets so you can get an idea of how the effects look in action. The plugin comes in a perfect square for both standalone and for your DAW, but you could actually get some crazy other dimensions by switching to Fullscreen. If you switch to Fullscreen, you can re-drag using the bottom right corner to essentially any dimension that you want. No matter what size window you're in, the controls are still visible and still work. If you're in your DAW, this header is kind of unavoidable, but in standalone, you can get a super clean screen that only shows the canvas. This is great for a live performance or anything where you only want to show the visuals. So in Visual Lab Pro, you could actually drag and drop your own images into almost every mode. This is the thing that's gone the most viral online, but most people assume it's only for the oscilloscope. It actually looks different in each mode, and the way it uses the photos and creates the visuals is different every time. Lava Lamp, Arcade, and Basic Colors do not support this action, but every other mode does. I want to drag the same logo into other modes so you guys can see how it looks. Here's Interstellar, TV, Code, Pixel, Plasma, and finally text mode. In text mode, once you drag an image in, you can use this knob to fill out the background to get rid of those edges and sides. Speaking of text mode, let's dive into that one a little bit, because it's kind of the most complicated out of all of them. So in text mode, your controls are a little different, but pretty much have the same layout, same vibe. To start off, you could type your words into these boxes. You could add or subtract as many boxes as you'd like, and they'll automatically switch to the beat of the audio. In a second, I'll show you how you could sync them up perfectly to your song, or sync them up to something more specific. You can control the background color, the text color, you can switch the animation style of the text, you can choose from these different font/background styles that we made, and you could also cycle these font styles to get a pretty crazy effect. Also, you can download your own custom fonts from online and then drag them in and use them. Here's an example of that real quick. I'm on dafont.com, which is a free font website, and I like this font, so I'm going to download it. Once it downloads, all I have to do is drag in this .ttf file, and then it's all ready to go. Okay, so I want to talk about syncing lyrics and timing up specific boxes. So the first thing you're going to want to do is turn off the auto mode. Now the words only change based on when you want them to change. So you could click between them and then automate the clicks in your DAW. But what I like to do is just click on the first box and then use the keys on your computer to switch between the ones you want. Here's an example of a song that I just loaded up. If you just click through on the beat, you can record your actions in your DAW. I'm in Logic, so we use Latch, but every other DAW has a mode that does the same thing. After recording, you could edit your automations or just draw your automations from the very start. Alright, so speaking of automation, almost every single parameter in this entire plugin can be automated. From the effects, the type of effects, the strobe buttons, the input, intensity, speed, colors, cycle, modes, everything can be automated. You could build your own live set doing this, or you could use performance mode. So this is performance mode. It allows users to create their own set lists and play them live. You could trigger them with your keyboard or automate the entire thing. Here's how to do it. Click set list, add a new set list, and then fill it up with the songs that you want to perform. I'm going to pretend that we're playing 3 songs at my show, song 1, song 2, and then final song. Once you put your songs in, you could then load presets for all these songs. Let's say for song 1, I want 3 presets. You can choose default, user, or factory presets and put them in the order that you like. Once you do that for every song, you can save and title the set list and hit play. If you click on the key map, this will tell you how to control your keyboard. You can have the presets in each song auto-cycle, or you can manually change them for different sections, and then you could switch songs using the numbered keys on your keyboard. There's a ton of other live commands you can do, like strobes, effects, color settings, pretty much anything that you can think of, and they're all right here listed in the key map. Alright, so the last thing that I want to talk about is the multiple mode. This is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of running one visualizer at a time, you could run a bunch of boxes all at once on the same screen. After selecting multiple mode, you have this menu screen, which allows you to arrange different configurations of boxes. You can do horizontal, vertical, one big box made up of little boxes, and you can use the plus and minus signs to get the shape that you want. After you do that, just click Done. After clicking Done, the boxes will automatically load up in the default category modes in order. However, you could change this by clicking on the selector pills, changing the category modes, and even right-clicking on each category mode to then pick a specific user default or factory preset. In multiple mode, you only have the intensity, color selectors, and an overall input knob, but you can load up custom presets that have the effects and all the other parameters really easily. Also, by clicking on the defaults with the overall drop-down menu, the entire screen will be filled with just one mode. Another cool thing you could do is use these link buttons. If you hit the link button for both the intensity and color blocks, they will link all the boxes together, allowing you to select colors and change the intensity for the whole grid. And then you could save your own presets here as well. Alright, that's it for now. Visual Lab and Visual Lab Pro are available at greylandaudio.com, and if you have any more questions, you could contact us at support@greylandaudio.com. I'll see you guys at the next one.